kind of lead me to another question that was brought up this week. Ticket sales. A lot of people are speculating that this fight might do well. Some people say it might not do well. Do you think if this fight sells well, do you think that might, knowing the PBC, do you think that might hurt the chances of a Terrence Crawford Errol Spence fight? You think that now everybody be backing up Thurman as a fight potentially for Spence instead of Crawford because of the sales, or you think that fight would still happen with Bud?
Yes. I hate to say it, and that's the catch-22 in this situation. I don't never wish for nobody to flop. Because like I said, they all trying to get paid and they getting hit in the head to do it. So, but I'm afraid because if he does, like you said, 250, 275, 310, 325, then PBC being on the same side with Earl Spence gonna say, why should we pit Spence in a 50-50 fight, which is one of our cash cows, and risk him losing when we could put him in a fight with Keith Thurman and we could sell 500,000 pay-per-views, make good money, and then pit Spence in a fight with Thurman and get paid off that too. So yeah, it scares me because from a business standpoint, I know PBC gonna be pushing for that fight. I know what I'm saying. I hope that Spence stays true to his word and that he don't really want to mess with Keith Thurman, and he fights fights Crawford first. If he want to get Thurman on the back, cool. But I think we waited long enough for this undisputed. I don't think it needs to be pit off because if him and Keith Thurman fight, that means we're going into 2023. So at some point, it got to stop. The fight's been built up. It can't get no bigger. Let's make the biggest fight in boxing.
Yeah, I agree with you. The business of boxing is corrupt, and I think that's the whole game plan. The whole game plan. That's why they pick Barrios. The whole game plan is to have Keith Thurman look good. Hopefully, he sell enough tickets to look good for a big crowd, and then people can say, "Oh, Keith Thurman back. He has that knockout power." We just seen Terrence Crawford stop Sean Porter, who's never been stopped before. So that's what's on a lot of people's mouths now. A lot of people are saying that Terrence Crawford power came up to 147. He stopped Sean Porter, who's never been stopped before. Let's see the fight now. So if Keith Thurman can come in here and knock out Mario Barrios and say, "I'm the former champion," talk his shit like he doing now, talk his shit, and he sold all those tickets on top of that. PBC, like you said, they're going to look at that fight like, yo, we can win. It's a win-win. If Keith Thurman beats Spence, then we got Keith Thurman championship Crawford fight anyway. But if Spence beat Keith Thurman, then now Spence is more famous and more popular, and now we can get that Bud fight out the way now. They're pretty much trying to, I don't want to say they're trying to use options, have better options, weigh their options. I'm just saying they are looking for a monkey wrench. It goes to the point now where, in my opinion, there's a monkey wrench in the plan. Do I think Spence would take it? I don't think so. I think he's different. He's a different pedigree, and I think he don't like Thurman. I think he doesn't like Thurman. I think if Crawford didn't have to fight Thurman, I think at this point, if Crawford needs an opponent after, well, I'm asking this question also. After we said in the beginning of the video, he kind of said Barrios was a good measuring point for Bud. So if Crawford fights Thurman in the midst of, Spence having Ugas troubles and gets Thurman out of the way, do you think PBC would still consider a Spence fight at that point, or you think they would just finally get on with it, or you think they'll try to throw Ugas in the way of one of those guys? That is Earl Spence. That is Earl Spence win, of course.
I think they'd be forced to make the Spence fight at that stage. I think they couldn't get around it because, I don't think Bud would take a Ugas fight. Like you said, he don't want to be taking a bunch of Earl Spence leftovers. Like you said, building up Earl Spence, you know what I'm saying, in the process. I think at that point, if Keith Thurman out the way, and, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, Ugas just lost to Spence if he was to lose, what would be the point of putting another obstacle in Terrence Crawford way? Just make the biggest fight in boxing. Because I believe, this is a crazy thing about it, I believe that if any one of them lose, I don't think it's going to kill their reputation. You know what I'm saying? Because I think they two of the top 3 or 4 fighters in the game overall. So I think unless somebody get washed completely, but if it's a competitive fight, I think them guys can go on and still fight big fights and pay-per-view fights. So PBC need to understand that even if Earl Spence was to lose to Terrence Crawford in a decision or a split decision or a great fight, you can do a second fight. And if you don't want to do a second fight, I still think Earl Spence he'll be high enough where he can still fight the Keith Thurmans or go up to 154 and try to get belts at 154, and vice versa for Terrence Crawford. If he was to lose to Earl Smith, I still think it's things for him left to do in his career. So I just hope that they don't try to put, like you said, another monkey wrench in the way.
Yeah, that's why. But actually that question because that's why I don't think that Keith Thurman will fight. But I don't think it's gonna be his choice per se. I think it's gonna be PBC choice because they know that for a fact. They know that if he get in the ring with Crawford and lose, then that whole monkey wrench is out the window. Like now they have to make that fight.